What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. We got the NBA Finals. We're 1 day away. I still like the Mavs to win in 6, but if we're talking about on paper, 100% the Boston Celtics are the deeper, better team. But like I said, the X factor for the Dallas Mavericks isn't Luka. It isn't the role players. It's Kyrie Irving. And we saw what the GOAT LeBron James had to say about Kyrie, saying he loves watching him play. He's mad that he's not his teammate anymore, and he's one of the most gifted NBA basketball players the NBA's ever seen. So from taking that from the GOAT, King James, LeBron, saying that about Kyrie, that's amazing. It speaks so many volumes. And to mention not, everybody hates on Kyrie just because he speaks his mind. The media wants to portray Kyrie as a bad image, but what LeBron James had to say about Kyrie, everything was great about it. Kyrie's the guy that's going to speak his mind. He's going to do what he wants, but when he's on the court, it's just, he's a musician. He is, man. He's a wizard out there. And when LeBron James says he's the most gifted NBA player ever seen, it's crazy. It's crazy to say that. And we look at LeBron James and look at the list of teammates LeBron's had in his career, and I could say, is Kyrie the best teammate LeBron James has ever had? And I would say Dwayne Wade back in 2010-11 time, but even then, that was towards D-Wade's end of his career. If we're talking peak basketball, I'd have to agree with a lot of people to say Kyrie is the greatest teammate LeBron James has ever had. 100%. Like, there's no other players besides D-Wade. I'll put D-Wade up there, but that was in D-Wade's prime. So, we're talking different primes here. Now, obviously, if D-Wade was back in 07, 08 time, yes, I'm definitely taking D-Wade over Kyrie. Just the simple fact that look at D-Wade's career compared to Kyrie's. But when we're talking on the court, being able to score on anybody, being able to cross anybody over at any given time, we have to go Kyrie there. It is that guy. And for LeBron James, it's his best teammate of all time is Kyrie. We go back to the 2016 NBA Finals when they're down 3-1. We saw what Kyrie did. He put up 41 a game, dude, in those Game 5, Game 6, and Game 7. Now, Game 7 was a little different, but still, Game 5 and Game 6, 40 apiece from LeBron and Kyrie to get that series tied up. Hit Game 7, and the rest is history. LeBron James block, then Kyrie comes down, hit a 3 on Steph to go up 92-89, and the rest is history. LeBron hits a free throw to ice the game. It's the icing on the cake, and I think this year, the experience of Kyrie Irving is going to play a huge factor in this series. And we already saw what Drew Holiday said. What are you going to do about guarding Kyrie? And he said, pray. Pray about it. You're going to need more in prayer. Let me tell you about that. I'm a firm believer of God and Jesus, the Son of God, but, you're going to need more than just prayer, dude. You're going to need a hard work ethic. You're going to need more than just prayer. And not to mention, Drew Holiday's on the Olympic team this year in the summer for Team USA. Not Kyrie. That's crazy. And Kyrie, he's going to have a cooking session this series. I really do. I think Kyrie's going to cook every single game. I expect 25-plus points a game from Kyrie. And now, unless Jason Kidd goes at it differently, sees a different game plan, but if I'm Jason Kidd and I'm the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, I'm saying every first quarter of this series, we're getting Kyrie. We're getting Kyrie 10-plus shots in the first quarter, more than any other player, dude. We need Kyrie to go off and go crazy. That's what you need, dude. You need Kyrie to go crazy, because if Kyrie does it, the Boston Celtics will win this series. Porzingis, I'm hearing, is coming back. So we look on paper and say, wow, the Boston Celtics are stacked. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, you got Porzingis, you got Drew Holiday, you got Derek White, you got the washed up Al Horford, who's a good role player, but he's washed up. But on paper, Boston is 100% better than the Dallas Mavericks. I'm just saying, for experience-wise, Kyrie's going to eat. We already know Luka is going to go crazy. And I think if Derek Lively, the center for the Mavericks, if he comes out and comes with a lot of aggression and passion and gets those second chance opportunities, I think that's really going to help the Dallas Mavericks in this series. I really do. But we look at the bigger picture in the Boston Celtics. If they lose this year, just like they did back in 2022 when Steph Curry cooked them, and I think Kyrie is up for another a cooking session. He's going to cook them up like some ribs, some chicken, some fried shrimp, whatever you want to do. Shout out to Forrest Gump, his buddy, fried shrimp, grilled shrimp, you got sauteed shrimp, all different types of shrimp that Kyrie's going to cook up against the Boston Celtics. And I understand everybody's going on Boston. That's fine. You guys can have Boston, and I wouldn't be mad if Boston does end up winning. They have 17 championships right now, tied with the Los Angeles Lakers, If they win, they'll have the most NBA titles of any organization in the NBA. That is crazy. So shout out to the Boston Celtics. You got history in Boston. You got 11 with Bill Russell. You got 3 with Bird. So many great legends. You got KG back in '08 when they beat the Lakers. Like, dude, that's crazy, man. Like, and they had Rajon Rondo and Ray Allen. Like, so many great Boston Celtics throughout the history leading up to this point. And I do think if the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown somehow fumble this bag, fumble this opportunity yet again, I'm looking at the Celtics and saying they're done. I think they're going to, trade some people here. They're either going to trade Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and they're done. I think that duo is done. I think the better duo is 100% Luka and Kyrie. That we know this, but the better team is definitely Boston Celtics. If the Boston Celtics do everything they're supposed to do, if Tatum puts up 30-plus points a game, Jaylen Brown gives you 20, and all the role players, chip in. You got Pritchard. You got all these other guys that can chip in. Derek White, he's a great role player, great shooter at home. So I think if Boston comes out, wins game 1, yes, I think the Celtics can take control of this series and win in 6. I could be completely wrong with the Mavs in 6, but I just think the experience right now and the way the Mavs are locked in, and I've watched Boston this whole year. They're a great team, but a lot of inconsistency. That's their biggest weakness. Some nights they'll come in, hit big shots after big shots, big threes from Tatum. Then other nights they're just crap the bed. They just, no chemistry whatsoever, no flow on defense or offense, not getting into their sets on offense, just not doing the right, proper, basic 101 basketball drills. Boxing your guy out. You can learn that in Pee Wee school. Like, so just the 101, basic 101 in basketball that you need to learn. And I think sometimes the Boston Celtics get away from that. And I think they need to understand this, that, hey, this is another golden opportunity to win an NBA championship, the most all time, so much, the brightest lights right now. I'm not worried about Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is going to eat. If they do win this series, Jason Tatum will be finals MVP, 100%. I just think looking at the bigger picture and saying Jaylen Brown needs to step up. These guys need to step up for Tatum because Tatum cannot do it all. I think everybody, reps Tatum as bad in the playoffs or he chokes. I think something personal was going on in his life, but right now, Tatum needs to step up, and I'm not worried about Tatum. Tatum's going to eat. I think he's going to score 30 a game, and Tatum has to do that. If Tatum does not outplay Luka in a couple games, the Boston Celtics will lose this series. They really will. But I think the Boston Celtics, if they do what they're supposed to do, all the right things, everything, into sync, hitting open shots, doing all the right things, I think the Boston Celtics win in 6 or 7 games in this series. Now, if somehow the Mavs get away from it and Luka's going to go for a triple-double, we know Luka's going to eat. We already know that. I'm just worried about the role players for Dallas. They're not as deep as the Boston Celtics, and I'm kind of worried about the Mavs right now when it comes game 4, game 5, and game 6. That middle stretch in this series is going to be a huge pivotal factor to say, how deep are the Mavericks? Are you guys deep to go this deep in the season already, as deep as you are? I'm saying in the finals here, you're going to get tired. You're going to get fatigued. In the Boston Celtics, they got a deep bench. So, they can bring guys in and out every single game while you're in game 3 and the series is tied 1-1, and you're already fatigued going into the second half of that game 3. It's not looking good for game 4 and game 5. It's just not. You have to be able to sustain this. You're going to have to. And I'm looking at Luka, and I realize sometimes when Luka, plays, man, he kind of playing like, man, dude, he's the old man body type. It's just like, man, it looks like he's hurt some plays, then he gets back and rubs it off, but it's just like, Luka's not going to be playing in the league for 15-plus years. I do not see that happening whatsoever. I see a lot of banged-up bruises already in Luka's game, and he's been in the league, less than 5 years? Like, dude, that's crazy. I understand he's been playing basketball his whole life, but still, dude, you're still in your earlier 20s, mid to 20s, even in your 30s. It's just like, look at LeBron, almost 40 and still in the league. 22 plus, dude. That's insane. But that's LeBron, though. That's the GOAT we're talking about. And I'm saying here right now for Luka Doncic, right here, right now, you have a golden opportunity to win NBA Finals MVP, solidify your legacy in Dallas, become like a Dirk Nowitzki 2.0, even better. Dude, this is a great opportunity for Luka. And I think if Luka comes in, scores 30 plus, gets 15 plus boards and 15 plus assists, I think it's the Mavs to win it. I really do. And it's all on Luka and Kyrie. I hate to do it on just 2 guys because it's a team sport and a lot of role players are going to play a huge factor in this series. But right now I'm looking at Luka and saying, you're going to have to score 30 plus a game. You just have to. If you're going to beat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, you're going to have to. I've seen Boston. A lot of times they're down. We saw in the Pacers series, they were down 3 times going into the fourth quarter in the Pacers series, and the Boston Celtics find a way to win. So I think that's not going to happen in Dallas, though. For the Dallas Mavericks, if they're up, they're going to hold the lead. The experience is going to become a huge factor. So I think if the Boston Celtics do end up going down in the fourth quarter, I think they're doomed in this series. I think, the Mavs have what the Pacers didn't, that clutch gene, that just experience with Kyrie. They're not going to dribble off the ball like Tyrese Halliburton did in overtime in game 1. You're just not going to do that. Kyrie's not going to do that. Kyrie's going to make the good IQ, slow it down. Let's waste it all the way down in the shot clock and not get up a shot with 19 seconds to go in the shot clock. That's what the Pacers do. That's why they're out of the playoffs. That's why they're not in the NBA Finals. Just the basic 101 basketball that you need to know as a point guard. And Kyrie's that guy. So I think Kyrie and Luka are the X factors here. And I think if they score 30-plus a game, even when Boston plays great. Boston, I think this is their series to lose. Boston is supposed to win this on paper. I would give them a 70% chance to win on paper compared to the Dallas 30%. That's how much, on paper, it's like, hey, it makes sense to go Boston Celtics. They're the deeper team. They're the better team right now. But experience is playing a huge factor in the brightest stage right now. And understand, Tatum lost in the finals back in 2022. That's why I do think he's going to eat. And I think Boston could get an early lead in this series, like a 2-0 lead, going back to Dallas. I think that could very well happen. But if it goes back 1-1 to Dallas, we know that the Dallas Mavericks are going to win the NBA Finals. I'm telling you here right now, from cap, no cap, I like Luka. I like Kyrie over the Boston, over a hyped Celtics. It's the Cloudwood Cap Show. Let's go!